Shalom, Akim. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who teach and roll well, and salutations to all the Akim all four corners of earth who's pushing this truth and sincerity. Shalom, Akim. You don't want to get into this topic here. You got more and more guys are coming out the woodwork. They're getting offended by the work that we do. The Lord told us to go out and do the job that we're doing. And that's what we're doing, man. What the Lord requires of us to do. And and then the flip side, we're gonna have more and more bug outs coming. More and more guys jumping out the woodworks, saying that they know the word, they know the truth, they know the Lord, they're saved already. Just different things. And I'm not even speaking about the different camps. I'm just speaking about the different guys that just come out the woodworks, the different, the flybyers. When you're online, the guys drive by and honk. I see you, I see you. Those guys. And then they'll come later on, they'll bump into you at a job or at the supermarket. I see you in the corner, and they'll tell you this and that. And they'll try to break down this and that, and just going all off, man. Going all off at the end of the day. We have been ordained to do this work. The Lord has ordained us to do these things. When you see us on the highways and byways, He told us to go out and do these, and that's our job. But once again, we're gonna be encountering more and more of these bug out guys, man. Real fast, quick story. We were on the line. It's about a week or two ago, and the guy walked by once before we were setting up for camp. He walks by, minding his own business. Then he came back, and then doubled back like he was leaving. And that's about the time we were starting up. So we were saying our praises, giving the praises to, and he stood to the side and started yelling out something too. But we weren't paying no mind to it because now we're in the spirit and we're getting ready preach, do the work. And so as we get to reading and preaching and stuff, now he's just stood there for like 30, 40 minutes. About the 40-minute mark comes around, we're speaking about salvation. And just letting people, we weren't speaking even directly to him because at this point he was, we're talking to the camera and to the world, and he was like off to the side to us, but he could see us and we could see him, and he was just listening. And once salvation came around, and that's when he finally said something. He said, "How can I get saved?" And the other brother went to the verses and broke it down to him. In the middle of him breaking down the verses, the man just bucks up and says, "No, how can I get saved?" And so the brother tells him back, like, "Bro, I'm giving you the verses that's gonna help you in the time of salvation, man. What is wrong with you, man? Listen." And then that's when that's when the devil just jumped out of him. Demons came out of him. Cause we have we got Northern Kingdom brother over there. He looks like an Edomite. So he points at him. And he just starts rolling off stuff, and that's when me and the next brother that was standing next to me, we just, gave one of them good grief, Charlie Browns, and we were just waiting for the demon to hop out. And we didn't know when it was gonna hop out, but we knew it was gonna come out, and and it was just too much for him, basically, So you're gonna encounter these different type of, flyby jokers, they're reading the scriptures and it's confounding them, basically. The scriptures are confounding them, flat out. They're confounded. They don't have no elders to go talk to. They don't have nobody to break bread with, to go over verses with, to try to ask, is this what it is, or is this wrong or right? They're just coming off their ass, man, and then see us, and then telling us we're wrong. They're crazy. This is Rome, but they're doing their job though. They're doing their job. Romans 16 and 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Like I say once again, he walked by once, twice. Second time, we were signing off, and that's when he just was compelled to stay, and it was just too much, man. Once the 40-minute mark hit, and we were getting to more with salvation, it was just, he was there to cause division at that point. The demons hopped out of him, man. We bought it out of him, and and once again, it's our job to be out there in the highways and byways pushing this word, man. The Lord told us to do these things, man. And we're gonna upset people. That's just what it is, man. And that's our job, man. Prophets of days of the day back in the day, they didn't come around for happiness. They came around to tell you to come to the Lord, or because of things that were gonna come, whether a crash of something was gonna happen or something major was gonna happen. That was the job of the prophet, man. John 17:17. Sanctify them through the truth. Thy word is truth, man. And this is the Lord speaking, man. So his word is truth. And how do we sanctify these people? By pushing this truth, man. You just can't hold this truth in, this great gift that the Lord has given you, That's not good. That's not the right thing to do, man. The Lord has given you the gift of prophesying. So go out and be a prophet, But at the same time, you have to be in, it's good to be in the fold, man. Because like I said, go back to the story of the guy who ran up on us, he was hollering out Bible verses and stuff, but you could tell he knew nothing because once again, his argument was based by nothing. He had nothing. He couldn't go to no verses to back up the things he was saying, basically. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was telling us, he was hollering out Bible verses, but it still had nothing to do with what he was talking about, Romans 10:17. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. So you have to hear this word. And how do you hear this word, man? How do you hear this word? You have to be out there teaching the people, man. You have to teach the people, man. We have Israelites out there that we are reaching, and we have to teach these other nations the things that's going to happen to them, man. And what's getting ready to happen. That's our job. Luke 14:23. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out unto the highways and hedges, and compel them to come that my house may be filled. And so that's our job, man. We are out fishing for the hopeful elect, man. And while we're out there, we are going to encounter bug outs, man. Bug outs. And so this guy right here on the screen, there a lot of guys, who are these microwave camps and stuff that are popping up, or have been here for some time, but just ain't doing the work like they're supposed to. They're going to be coming up on making videos and doing different things, and they're in-house. They're protected from the element, the people. If somebody got a question, they can't come up and ask them because they're in the house. They're in an enclosed situation, man. So we're on two different planes, basically. We're out there on the highways and byways that we're teaching this word, and if the people have a question, they can come up and ask, and we're going to give them their answer for free. We have other camps that charge for answers. You have other camps that charge for breakdowns. Here it is where we're giving the word for free. We're giving you this truth for free, man. Why? Because it's for your soul, it's for your salvation, man. And our people, once again, you Israelites, you're gonna continuously, come with different curveballs. Whether you'll tell us you're already saved, you'll tell us that the Sabbath's on Saturday, we shouldn't be out there preaching. We get all sorts of scarfers, man. They come in different size, shapes, and forms, man. But guess what? The Lord is preparing us for these things, man. And He also told us to go do the work, man. And as well as we also know that this is nothing new. That this job that we're doing, we're back doing it again. This is reincarnation. So we are prophets from the past. So back in the days past, we were doing the same thing, man. We were prophesying, mad at the way society was going, mad at the way the people were. But yeah, these guys, we're gonna bump into more and more of these guys. They're gonna come out the woodworks, they're gonna come out the woodworks with their own doctrine, with saying how they're the only one saved, and it is what it is. It's the game that we're in. We didn't sign up for this. The Lord chose us, and we have to thank the Lord for that, man. We thank the Lord daily, man, for plucking us out of this wicked world, man, and giving us this truth to break down these wicked strongholds that are out here, man, and break down the wicked too. This is Matthew 7:21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity, man. So you have to walk. You have to be on a real fine line, man. You know, you try everything by the Spirit. You know, and once again, you'll know a prophet. The Lord. Hey, this is beautiful, man. Because the Lord, the Lord has the thing. The Spirit bears witness. So by the way a man walks and the content, you'll be able to tell for the most part, man. And a lot of these guys, they come with these super garments, these super outfits and stuff, man. It's much more for show. A few years ago, we were watching one of the Sabbath from a group. I think they were in California, and the way they were doing the Sabbath was like a motion picture, man. They pull up in Cadillacs and different cars and stuff, stomping their staffs on the ground. Everybody had high-priced garments with the rawest linens on it and stuff. It was and the belts, the belts they had on the girdles. It was all for show basically. And then not even to add on to it was for show in Hollywood. The production of the camera work and stuff. This wasn't no regular ass camera just recording. This was some good production put into this. Just like when Nate and them did their Passover with the horses and all that stuff, and how they do it all. They're taking this word, man, and hey, the Lord gonna deal with him, man, the way He wants to deal with him. I'm just here to push this word, and that's what I gotta do, man. Just push this word, man. And continue doing the Lord's work, man. That's it. That's all. With that being said, I'm just edifying. Shalom, Maki.